Hi everybody. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a little crazy. It's the end of the summer, and so we're doing grandchildren vacations and things like that. I'm actually in the Bay Area, and wow, these NASA locations for taking your kids are just incredible. But today we're talking about the length of leave. So we're going through the integrated medical leave and accommodation management system approach, which starts with what are the leaves that they're eligible for? And what are the leaves that you need to make sure that you provide as an employer at your state and federal level? And now today we're talking about, well, what are these leaves? And remember, we're starting at the federal leaves. We're not doing state specific, but you want to be aware of them because they implement each other. So FMLA. FMLA is 12 weeks. But you have to be eligible first. That means that if you've already been there a year cumulatively and you've worked those hours, 1,260, that's about half time, 26 hours a week on average, then you get 12 of your normal work weeks. What's a normal work week? Not 40 hours, everybody. So it's not 40 times 12, 480. Nope, not unless they actually work those hours. So if they work 27 hours, it's 27 times 12. And more significantly, and as significantly, if they're an exempt employee and they work 60 hours, how many of you do as an HR employee? It's 60 times 12. Now, when does this become important? Under FEMLA, this becomes important when you actually are taking leave less than by the week. Because a week is a week is a week is a week. But when you start taking it by the day or the minute or the hour, and that matters, you have to determine what that calculation is going to be. It's a requirement. And yes, you can deduct time off for people who are exempt employees. So these are all the things that we go over in detail in the deep dive on how to manage leaves and accommodations. So now what's the second thing? What about this military leave stuff? Well, it's the same. It's 12 weeks of extingency leave. And that means, boy, I need help with my bookkeeping. I need help with taking care of the kids because my spouse is about to go to be deployed. So we're going to give you some time to organize that. FEMLA is 12 weeks. It's 26 if you're a disabled veteran or retired veteran of 7 years. So you've got options for other time like that. But in general, we're talking about 12 of your normal work weeks for your own serious health condition, your immediate family members, your spouses. That's what this is for. Now we talk about the ADA. Well, the ADA doesn't have a length of leave. But the Pregnancy Workers Fairness Act does. It says about 40 work weeks or 41 or 693 hours if you're working 40 hours a week. Okay, well, that's about the length of a pregnancy, so that makes sense. But that's different than ADA because ADA does not have any minimum requirement of anything. And leave is option if we can provide it to you and it's not an undue hardship. So we don't provide unpredictable leave under the ADA, and there's a whole bunch of strategies on how to manage that. We also don't provide reduced work schedules and modified leave for your work schedule unless it's really going to be predictable and short and you know that they can work at the end of that accommodation. It's not an ongoing reduced work, let me be a permanent part-time employee type of environment. Let's help you understand what that really means if this is sounding a little bit out of what you're used to. So with the Pregnancy Workers Fairness Act, or pregnancy leave that is disability related, it's going to be the Pregnancy Workers Fairness Act because you can do your job with an accommodation, or you can take leave for up to 40 weeks that would allow you to come back after the end of the leave. But remember, if you've got FMLA and FMLA baby bonding, you might be using that after you've used the Pregnancy Workers Fairness Act, or before for that matter. So we've got ADA that says, well, how long do you get ADA if it's for my own serious medical condition? Well, if it's leave, if it's an undue hardship to provide it all, you won't be providing it. It won't be accommodated. You won't be a qualified individual with a disability. To get an accommodation under the ADA, we don't care how long it lasts if it helps you do the functions of the job at a meets expectation level, because ADA, everybody, is a work regulation. So when you're taking an accommodation under ADA, it could be for the rest of the time you're that employee, as long as it allows you to perform the essential functions of the job at a meets expectation level. Now, if you're asking for leave, well, we just sort of talked about that. That's a different question you're asking now. It's until it's an undue hardship, because ADA is a work regulation, everybody, not a leave regulation. So if you're taking leave under the ADA, it's because I know you're going to come back at the end of the leave and be able to perform all the functions of your job, because that's what makes you a qualified individual with a disability. So then we get to workers' comp. Now, these are state-specific regulations, and we're not going to get specific into the length of time, but I want to make sure you understand very clearly. Workers' comp runs concurrent with FMLA, and it can run concurrent with ADA if they're taking leave, if it's not an undue hardship. But as soon as ADA becomes an undue hardship to provide leave, they could be on workers' comp without ADA job protection. They could be on workers' comp with FMLA, which protects the job. They could take ADA till that first requested leave they have. And then when they keep requesting leave, it's becoming an undue hardship because it's unpredictable. And then they would simply be on the workers' comp leave that doesn't protect their job in most states. So these are the very specific things you need to pay attention to by state. But keep in mind, they can run concurrent to FMLA and ADA, and you need to know when. And when FMLA ends, ADA begins, everybody, all the time, every time, no matter what, unless it's not for their own medical condition. So, and of course, that's until you determine whether they're a qualified individual with a disability, if in fact it is for their own medical. Now, let's add to that your company-specific leaves. They might be LTD, they might be STD, but those don't protect the job, everybody. Take a look at what they say. You may have PTO, vacation, and sick leave. Those protect the job, and you want them to. They run concurrently with these other regulations, or don't they? Make sure you know. And do you have a union contract that gives other protection, like you don't run workers' comp with FMLA in some unions where you're a service provider? So really understand these. But the big picture is FMLA to ADA. Workers' comp can run with both of them. We have the Pregnancy Workers Act that runs on top of all of these. And then, of course, you might have your own state and federal regulations. Hope this helps you understand and get to the next level, everybody. And keep in mind, we do a deep dive and are in the trenches. The Ultimate Guide to Integrated Medical Leave and Accommodation Management. We'll be in Chicago for the USA. We'll speak to the state regulations. And, of course, we'll be via Zoom. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye.